Hello everyone. Today was a pretty solid day. I woke up at around 9:30. I was asked by my mom to move my car out of the way, much like most modern mornings in recent memory. A weird sentence. Moving along, after I moved my car out of the way, I went back into the house and I decided to lay flat on my back in the living room. My sister came up and greeted me. I greeted her, and from what I can remember, uh, she told me there was like some deviled eggs in the fridge that were made, and so I was like, could I have them? I was wondering. I asked, and she said yes. So there were three in there. I took them, and she let me know that there was a croissant that was frozen in the back freezer. So I took that. I heated that up in the air fryer at 350 degrees for 5 minutes. I cut that in half. I put some boysenberry syrup on it. It was all right. And then after that, I ate the croissant, and I also had the deviled eggs with a cup of coffee. And then afterwards, I ended up spending most of my afternoon simply just trying to use Gemini to seek out a bit more financial information. But then I realized that Gemini had this new feature where you could make your own AI music. So I was like, I wonder if I could try that out. So I made a bunch of silly rap lyrics, and then I sent the lyrics to Gemini, asked it to make a song based off those lyrics that was in the style of a 90s rap, and it generated it. And it was really funny, really silly, really weird. Um, yeah, I showed it to my sister, and she constantly had a cringy face playing throughout the video, so clearly she thought it was like pretty cringe, but yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Um, and then after that, I continued looking into some financial information until I got a phone call telling me about some business that has been completed. So I was like, okay, cool. So I needed to finish a bit more business by making another phone call. So I did that. And after that was done, I ended up going ahead and I got hungry, so my sister was making some potato bread French toast. I decided to make my own thing. I warmed up the frozen potato bread, and then I made a ham sandwich with mustard, mayonnaise, which we're running low on currently, and provolone cheese. I had that. It was very good. My sister said that she was like, "Ooh, we need to get groceries." I was like, "Yeah, we do need to get groceries." And I was like, "Ooh, we need some magnesium glycinate because we're running low on that." And then I remembered that I needed to take my vitamins midway after eating lunch instead of at the end of the day. So I took my vitamins. I took a pain killer medication, so that way my back wouldn't feel super sore. Should have did a stretch today, but I did not. Sad to say. Afterwards, I got dressed and ready to go to work. I drove off, and when I arrived at work, well, the usual drill: 311 sweeps, sweep the produce, the break room, the store floor. There was some pickle juice that broke and spilled, so had to help wipe that down. But two of my coworkers got to wiping it down before me, but I did sweep away the glass and threw that away. I took out the trash earlier. I ended up taking out the trash in the produce area um, super early. Yeah, I took a 10-minute break where I did some breath work. Coworker even joined in a little bit, but they said they thought the breath work made them lightheaded, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I continued my breath work, and then afterwards, I returned from my break. I continued doing my sweeping duties before eventually punching out for lunch. I did get a call from my mom a little earlier, telling me that she was at the grocery store and was trying to pick up some food, and she was asking about like what to choose and like granola and things like that. So I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Granola bars, organic, sounds pretty good. So I drove home. When I arrived, I immediately ate a made good granola bar. I also had some Simply Protein chips that have pea protein in them, and I also had a sandwich using artisan bread, uh, mayonnaise, and the last of the mustard. Sadly, we did not get our mustard replenished. And then after that, yeah, I ended up going back to work. Said goodbye to my mom, sister, told them that I loved them. When I arrived, I pretty much finished the day by repacking the bags, wiping down all of the check stands, throwing out the rest of the trash, including the deli trash. Um, Ear hustling on what one of my coworkers and one of my co-managers were talking about. They were talking about like things like anime, video games. It was pretty interesting. Um, I gotta be honest. It's funny. Like with Digital Foundry, I stay up to date with all the latest tech that goes on in gaming, but I haven't actually like sat down and played a video game in a while. I just kind of sit down and listen about the tech powering video games instead, which is kind of odd, not gonna lie. Um, I think I should really sit down and actually play a game instead of hearing someone talk about a game. It's a really odd phenomenon. I'm not sure what that is. Um, and yeah, I haven't really caught up. I'm not really. I mean, other than my sister keeping me and my mom and my other sister, our family friend, updated with One Piece, showing us episodes of One Piece. Um, I haven't really watched any other animes. I'm just most of my attention's really focused on like listening to UFO stories and things like that. Like that's what I'm currently into. Like so, you know, there was a time when I was hardcore into like you know cartoons and TV shows for a while, but currently that is not in my wheelhouse right now. So it kind of felt weird. It felt like I was experiencing myself from the past when I was hearing my coworkers talk. Like there was a part of me that kind of wanted to get involved, but at the same time I was like, well, I'm not really up to date with anything they're talking about, and so I don't really know what I could even add to the conversation or say. So I'm just kind of awkwardly just listening, like wanting to see what's going on, like you know what what they're up to, I suppose. Um, yeah, I guess in a way it kind of helped me shine a light on myself in terms of like how I like am currently using my attention and like yeah, because I don't know, maybe I could spread my attention out and diversify a bit. I feel like I've been a bit too on like things like tech reviews and UFO videos and things like that. I mean, I find it enjoyable, don't get me wrong. The feeling of like, ooh, the secrets they don't want you to know. But at the same time, there is such a thing as overkill, and that can get out of hand. But moving along, I was asked by one of my co-boss if I needed anything or to pick up before the store closed. I couldn't think of anything, but that was a bummer because my sister actually asked me to pick up some oat milk, and I completely blanked out on that. I should have remembered that at that moment, but I did not. Instead, I finished wiping down the last check stand. I punched out. I I hung out with my coworker and co-manager, kind of just awkwardly, like staying there, like taking their conversation. I was just kind of staying there and wanted to just say goodnight, but I didn't want to interrupt their conversation flow. But I also didn't want to leave without saying goodnight either. So yeah, that was kind of an awkward situation. But anyways, after that, I walked my car. I drove off. When I arrived home, I greeted my mom and my mom and my family friend who were watching TV. I ended up snacking on various things that we recently got, such as the Made Good granola bar, the peach, chopped up peaches in a cup, as well as these things called True Dates, with which are like these dates with like sour candy coating on them. And the cool thing is they don't have any sugar in them. It's the sugar sweetness solely comes from the dates, and the candy flavor is just like a dust they put on the dates. And I gotta be honest, it's pretty good actually. I really like it. Really good. Yeah, has a nice taste to it. Well, anywho, I was eating those, talking with my mom, hanging out. My sister came, we greeted her. Then I told my mom about the whole AI music cover thing. She asked if like I could show her, and then I played her some of the music she thought was fun. So she wanted to make her own music with her own lyrics. Well, actually, I asked her, "Would you like to make a song?" And she said, "Sure." So she made a song about like her her occupation, and then we put it together. And she wanted to be like 1930s jazz, and yeah, it was pretty good. It had a nice lulling, like fun sound to it that I really enjoyed. So yeah, pretty great. And then we just went crazy. We like made a song about like one of our cats, Call Me Getting a Bath, and then another one about like Malcolm. And then we called it quits for that night. And then I ended up taking my magnesium, brushing my teeth, using mouthwash, and then but before I brushed my teeth and used the mouthwash, I was like listening to an Eyes on Cinema video where the person who made the video, that was Bob Lazar, The Story of Nowhere, his latest video, where it was basically weird contradictory statements that Bob Lazar made over the years that put his story into question, ultimately puts his motives into question. So it's like he's been, people always say, "Ooh, Bob Lazar, he's never changed his story once," and clearly, like he saw something. And while there is certain aspects, I suppose, that are fairly consistent, there's other aspects based on the video I was watching and listening to. We were like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. Why did he say that when he said something contradictory before? So is it just him being a clout chaser? Is it him like he genuinely saw something, but his it's been so long ago that like his mind is like filling in the details? Could it be that he's simply just trying to add more, sensationalize the story to make it more interesting? Or could it be that he could be a bad actor, or maybe an agent in and of himself who had breadcrumbs of truth in his story, but ultimately it was he was like a government plant meant to mislead people? There's many different ways you could take this video, but all I know is like I was always like under the impression that Bob Lazar was like a guy who like never changed his story and was always consistent with the details. And then I'm watching this video where he isn't, clearly, if you listen to it. So it does bring into question like what his motives are, why is he saying this, what's really going on. It's a fascinating video for anyone who's interested in this subject matter. But anywho, after that I realized, oh, I need to make my video. So here it is. And that's pretty much the day in a nutshell. So yeah, it was a pretty good day. Pretty solid day. I'm happy that it ended the way it did, and I'm ready for tomorrow. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.